I would say it's inspired by the human form. It's really the feminine form, to be exact. You know, it's really a car that we designed to be timeless and at the same time be unmistakably a Viper. So yes, it's evolutionary, and that was on purpose. But we think it's revolutionary in the way that it's so beautifully sculpted and everything is functional. Every scoop, every shape, the car actually creates negative lift, downforce, naturally without any wings on it. So that's all part of working with engineering.
Ralph, beautiful new car, Viper, coming out, what, in a few months?
Yeah, in about 4 or 5 months from now, they'll be on the road. There are actually several of them out there testing, so it's exciting to get the feedback from the media world, so to speak.
This is your baby. How much blood and soul did you pour into the design of this?
It's our baby. We have a studio of some very excited designers that got to work on this car, about 4 or 5 of us, and I drove them nuts.
So tell me about the design. Kind of walk me through what you did.
I mean, obviously the Viper is gifted with some fantastic proportions. You have the very, very cab rearward proportion, which is, there's very few cars that still have that today, so that already gives it a special look. We widened the track. The engineers said they wanted a wider track for handling reasons. We love it because it allows us to really broaden the vehicle. So we kind of started with the inspiration of the snake, you know, between the human body and the eyes of the snake. So we really changed the front end of the vehicle by putting a slightly more vertical headlamp than before. Again, and immediately you can see functionality creeps into the design with the exhausters coming out of the hood, which you also see on Grand Cherokee, 100% functional. Not only does it release the pressure under the hood for high speed stability, but it really does help cooling without burdening the engine bay with too much heat, which would make us have to pull spark. Then you see the cab has been, it's about the same height as before, but we really actually increased the double bubbles because a lot of our owners, actually more than half of them, take their cars on the track. So we actually increased the headroom for helmets and whatnot. Combined with the lowered seat really helps. But in terms of the car's signature detail, it's got to be the grille. We've kind of, the grille has changed over the years. The original Viper had almost a vertical grille that exited here. The last generation had a very geometric grille. We went back to a very organic grille, but exaggerated even more. It's much deeper. It's also very functional, exhaust heat. And while we're at it, we really, I'm a big freak when it comes to highlighting. So we really surfaced the barrel of the car to have a perfect highlight, the horizon line that goes all the way around the car that really gathers it all together. As emotional and as there's a lot going on in this design, but it's kind of held together by this constant highlight around the car. Again, functionality creeps in. We are able to extend the DLO of the vehicle. We call it daylight opening by using this functional brake duct that's embedded into the vehicle. The air goes right to the brakes. We use that as a styling element to again lower the roof visually and lengthen it. Again,
is that real carbon fiber?
Yes, it is. It'll be black on certain cars, and on the GTS it'll be carbon fiber. And we're also going to offer a carbon package. A couple of things we did while we were at it. We really worked with engineers. So we added a little more negative camber this time around. What allowed us to cinch down the wheel opening, so you see less air. It really helps aero, and also looks better. In the back of the vehicle, inspired from race cars all the way back to the 50s and even 60s and 70s, you had the camtail. The Italians did this, and this is kind of an evolution of this idea of the cam back, which again is functional. This is the highest it's ever been on any Viper, creating a lot of positive downforce. We still have great top speed, but it's always a balance between top speed and downforce. So this is all functional, but it looks great. It really does look very exotic. And then on the back of the car, just like we did on the front, we changed the signature by incorporating some technology. So the tail lamps and headlamps are very high tech. These are all LEDs. It has a bit of a crushed glass effect where the LEDs are diffused, and it looks pretty cool. And they're surrounded on some certain cars on the SRT. It's body color, and you can, as you step up to the GTS, it comes in a carbon surround or a black surround, depending on the vehicle. And underneath, what you can't really see from where you are right now is a diffuser. We spent a lot of time. Normally, that would be kind of plunked in, so to speak, by the engineers, and we kind of intercepted that process and really designed the diffuser, so it's just as beautiful as anything else. So, but pretty proud of the car. I think it manages to be very new and gorgeous and functional.
How about the interior? Can we get a look at that?
Well, the interior was, again, first thing was ergonomics, getting the ergonomics improved. We really did listen to our customers, what they wanted: a little more storage, wanted a little more comfort, more width. So we started with the door. We actually skived the door out just a little bit more to give you a little more shoulder room. We actually a bin in here. We kind of organized the switches better. But the true revelation is the materials themselves. I mean, we really changed our philosophy from a molded instrument panel to more of a handmade situation. And we find with low volume cars, it's actually the better deal. So we're able to always wrap, the materials are always wrapped, they're always stitched. You get the optional 100% leather. All IPs are leather on all the Vipers, but you get the whole interior leather on the GTS. And then that allows us to change up the color anytime we want. We can do hundreds and hundreds of different combinations. And we'll also have a customized program where owners can just specify what they want and we'll build it for them. So it's really going to be mass customization has finally come our way. When you sit behind the wheel, the first thing you notice the steering wheel is smaller. It's very sculpted. It has a great flat bottom, which has become a signature detail in all the SRTs. We probably spent as much time on the steering wheel as we did with the whole car. I'm a big fan of very, the wheel has to communicate the purpose of the car, so that starts there. We've also incorporated some technology. We got the 8.4-inch corporate screen in there, but it's customized for the Viper specifically, with the 7-inch screen in the cluster, with all kinds of geekdom in there. So you can figure out, everything. Your transmission temperatures, a lot of stuff. We actually have
all the track tools.
Yep, we're gonna have track tools, and it'll be able to G-map tracks that you're at. You record it, and you could go back home, download it, and check out your performance.
Now you're race cars, right? And the old Viper had this reputation where you take it around the corner, it would stick, and then it'd let go. Kind of bite you.
Well, we've done a lot with the handling. We did, starting with the way the suspension is hung, we moved the tie rod forward, which takes away the compliance steer. That really helps a lot. But the big enabler has been the tire itself. We changed to a different tire, went with Pirelli's in this situation. We worked with the compound. The compound's actually unique front to back, and it allows for a much more progressive breakaway, and actually even more ultimate Gs, which we're amazed. Normally those are mutually exclusive.
What size are the backs?
They're 355s, the largest we ever had on a Viper. Went up 10 millimeters. The fronts are up quite a bit. They're 295s in the front. So you have the fundamentals that are good. We fixed the steering effect of the rear, so the rear now just goes up and down, does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't jostle the car around. And overlay that with a very, very high-tech 4-channel stability control system. We work with Conti Tevis for over almost 3 years now, perfecting it. And it's a really good driver will never know it's there. Make heroes out of a lot of people. And you have the ability, we have 4 modes. You have the ability to shut it off completely or progressively shut it off.
So if you want to go crazy like the old Viper and hang the tail out, you can, but if you want to be a hero on the track without...
Yeah, and the other thing we did is we quickened the rack, so the steering rack is much quicker. The whole chassis is stiffer, it's 50% stiffer, and that allows the suspension to be tuned very differently. So the whole philosophy of the car is different. It's much more go-kart-like. Yeah, when it comes out, you can catch a car almost instantly now with a very quick rack, so it's nothing like the old car.
And what are you proudest of on the new car?
The teamwork. I think the car is a synthesis of a team, putting their heads together and saying, this is what we've always wanted to do, and we did everything we've always wanted to do. So we're very, very happy with the results.
And when will it hit the dealers? When can people get in and drive one?
Right around Christmas time. Just in time for Christmas, they should be in showrooms.